grabs a bunch more.
What does he do? He looks at his hand like back and forth at his hand and the machine, and he's like,
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's take a few notes today. Once we're through this, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to work on your homework. I'm going to get into the problems that we did yesterday. And then homework is very, very simple. If you have a calculator in front of you, I just require that you write down the problem and then you show your answer. So if that makes any sense, we'll kind of go through a couple of problems. I want to go through hopefully about 3 types of problems today. And you feel very, very comfortable with them, so I'm going to try to go through them. All right, so here's our problem. So we're on section 6.4 today, which is word-based problems. They're based on percentages. So word-based problems. We did some of these yesterday, and so these are the things I was kind of hinting at. I want to make sure that we at least get the vocab down. You know how to set up your problems, you know how to write, you know how to type it in your calculator and actually solve it out, and you know what it's actually giving you. You understand the purpose of it, and then we'll get to a couple examples today. All right. So here's the idea: vocab terms that we used yesterday, the vocabulary. Some of the main 3 words I want you to know: percentage, rate, and base. These are the key terms that we've been using. Now there's a couple other words that we used yesterday. Some of the other words that we used was the word is. When you ever see the word is, it's an equal sign. If they have the word of, that means multiplying. So these are the key words here. In fact, I'm going to write those down. The word is, you're going to use an equality symbol, so you're going to use an equal sign. And if it's the word of, you're going to use a multiplication sign. And instead of a multiplication sign where we use little times like an X, we use a dot for general math for us. All right, questions with what we're doing today? Okay, let's go through a couple examples here. Let's do the first one. I'm just going to write down an example that I saw in the book. Okay, here it is. 10% of 35 is what number? Okay, I'll let you write that down. Put it in your notes somewhere, exactly write down that exact sentence. We're going to go through, we're going to label the parts. Then we're going to show you how to write down your actual problem, like the actual math problem that's involved there, which you probably know how to do. And then we're going to talk about how to solve it. There's a couple different ways. Goal today, show you 2 different ways. I'm almost expecting that the first way it seemed like a lot of the problems that we did yesterday, the first one we did, it seemed like you guys thought that was probably one of the easiest problems we had. So we're gonna try to stick with that method today. But goal is to do about 2 to 3 examples. I want to get through 3. That's my goal, and then give you some time where you can actually work on an assignment today to prove that you actually understand it. And eventually we'll play a game, possibly as early as tomorrow, based on this stuff, to make sure you understand how to use it. So, that game will require your Chromebook. So, require your Chromebook. So, it'll require your Chromebook.
is what you
Okay. Okay, does everyone have it written down? Let's go through the keywords here. We'll start over here with Sam. 10%. How do you write that down as a number? 10. And a percent sign. Good. Okay, let's go to the next one. Eric, the word of, what does it mean?
Equals.
Nah. The word of.
Or multiplication.
Multiplication, so we're going to use a little dot. Okay, let's keep going. Connor, 35.
35.
35. There's no trick about it. Okay, let's keep going. Sam, back to you. The word is.
Equal sign.
Equal sign. Good. And Eric, what number? Now, what do we put in that spot? What do we put in terms of the word what? We talked about it yesterday, many a time. Actually, I'll give that question to all three of you. When it says what number, what do we need to put there?
Do we need to figure out the problem here?
We'll eventually do that. We're going to solve it later. Probably you're already starting to figure it out. But what do we put in the spot where it says what number?
The decimal.
Nope. I mean, that's eventually what we're going to do. That's going to be my answer. But when you see the word what, what's the key word that should be popping in your head? Connor, got any ideas? When they say what number, what should we put in that spot?
Oh, a letter.
A letter, a variable, yeah. So we can pick any letter of the alphabet. Let's pick one.
A.
A, okay, let's do that. Let's pick the letter A, and I'm gonna use capital A. All right, so that's gonna be our main problem. So if we're gonna set up a math problem with this, this is exactly what you write down. Now, for the 10%, we need to write this as an actual digit. So how do you write 10% as a number? So Sam, how do you write 10% as a number? What's the trick when you want to change this to an actual number?
You change it to a decimal?
A decimal. And how do we change 10% to a decimal?
0.10?
0.10. Perfect. Because you always move the decimal over 2 spots. Then we're going to take it times. And we're going to have the 35, which Connor said earlier. There's no real trick to it. And then we have the A. Now, this is the part that, Eric, you were technically correct. We just need to figure out what A is. That's the whole point, right? That's the answer. It's the number we're looking for. So when we're going to try to find A here, all you need to do is do the math that you see printed over here. Take 0.10, take it times 35 in your calculator, type it in, I want to know what your answer is. It's going to be a dozen, guaranteed.
Too many things.
So just type that in your calculator.
3.5.
Say it again.
3.5.
3.5. And that should make sense. That is 10% of 35. So if you had 35 chances, so like last week, we were playing a game where, okay, here's you, and you were tossing that little paper ball to a target. So here's your little target, right? You had 35 tries, 35 attempts. Well, the idea is that 10% of them is 3.5. That's roughly how many times you're accurate. 3.5 out of 35 throws. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's where I got that number. Questions, comments about the actual game that we played last week?
Nope.
Okay, that's what it means to be a percentage.
Here's my question, are we playing that game again?
No.
Good.
We're gonna play different. So that's the idea. Okay, percentages is it's a smaller group of the base numbers. Base is a large set of
I got
numbers.
one question.
Percent is a small group, and the rate is the actual percent.
I got one question.
Yes.
When's homework due?
Homework will be due tomorrow. Short turnaround, but I don't give you very much. And as you can see,
because tomorrow's Friday.
yeah. Hey, and look at this. Very easy. Like all you have to do is type that in. Done. That's what your problems look like, just like that.
Tell me what page it's on.
Okay. Nope.
Dang.
Okay, we good? Not yet. I haven't even put it on the board yet.
Dang it.
Haha. Because I knew you guys would look at that.
Mm,
All right, we're good.
we would have been done by the time you get done talking.
I know. All right, we good with this though?
Yeah.
Moving second one. Here we go. Second problem. I'd like you to write it down again. Okay, let's go to a brand new problem. I'd like you to write it down. That way you have a couple examples of how to do it. Let's do another one. I'm going to change up the wording here.
Oh Lord, I have a good idea for
What is that?
tomorrow after if we hand all our homework in.
Oops.
What is that?
A free day, fun day Friday.
We could possibly think about that.
At least someone said something. I guess.
Okay, I'd like to write down this problem now. Slightly different wording. You know, the wording looks like they switched around, but here's the thing. It's still the same problem. It's the exact same
Same
stuff.
type, it's the
Same
same
type of
setup
problem.
and
Yeah, same setup and
problem,
everything.
But, well, not the same problem.
Not the same exact answer, but the same setup. So what I'd like you to do, write down this sentence, okay, and we're going to convert it to a math problem, like an actual equation. We're going to solve it using your calculator.
What's multiplication?
Yep. So the goal, we're gonna, now that you have your sentence written down, let's convert it to an actual math problem. So does anyone think they have the exact math problem written out? Okay, Eric, fire away, what do you got?
A equals
A equals, because you're gonna pick your variable, A equals
6%.
6%. Now, How do you write 6%? You're correct, 6%, but how do you write that as a decimal?
0.6.
0.06.
Oh yeah.
Because you have to move the decimal over 2 spots, so it's actually 0.6, right? And then the word of?
Couldn't you just done 0.6 then?
0.60 and 0.06. Okay, keep going.
And then 40.
40, perfect. Yeah, so if you didn't hear Sam's question, he was asking 0.6 versus 0.06.
I think I may have gotten the answer.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna ask for that here in a second. This represents 60%, this represents 6%. There's a difference. All right, so now, Connor, you said you had an answer. Please rattle up. What do you got?
I think I have the answer.
Please.
0.0015.
Ooh, I don't have 0.0015.
I got it.
I had something close to that, but I think your decimal's in the wrong spot. Is this what you typed in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I put.
Okay, times 40?
Oh, times.
Times, I thought. I think you're in the ballpark. You had the idea. I think the decimal's in the wrong spot.
2.4.
Wait.
Is it 2.4? Okay, so my estimation was off. I thought it was gonna be about 1.5 or
Hey,
2.
Lord.
So, yeah.
Calculator check. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say calculator check, but until you got the answer down, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was expecting about 1-ish, 1.5, that's what I was expecting. But 2.4, that makes sense. It's in the
So,
ballpark.
Warden, you ready for snow this weekend?
Well, can we stop with the snow?
We're supposed to get a lot of sun.
I just want it to be summer already. I hate the cold. On here.
Okay,
I hate it.
hey,
I can't stand the
let's do one more. Hey, but did everyone get 2.4? Okay,
This is the second time I got.
okay. All right, let's do one more example here. One more example, then I'm gonna see how well you can do this problem. All right, here it is.
I have fuel if you have the thrower.
Well, I might have to make it first.
That'll be fine. Just come in when it's done.
Or unless there's a gun store that has one.
There's an ammo store in my town.
Okay, here you go.
Honey?
Last,
Right here, locked in the-
okay. Last problem of the day before I give you some homework, and I'm gonna see if you guys can write this down. Write down the math problem and actually solve it yourself. It's the exact same style problem we just did, but they're gonna give you numbers written down.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, did you mean to write that like
Yeah,
that?
I meant to write it like that, because every form that I've shown you today is exactly the 3 ways they're gonna show you the problems. They're just subtly different from each other, but the problems are all the exact same style, like how you
Oh,
solve
they're just all different setups.
setups. But they all are worked out the exact same way.
Ah.
So they're just getting you used
So
to
that
different-
one could try and trick you because they could
Yep.
make it look like you have to write down the word form of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Nope, no. I want the math problem. I want you to solve it, see what the answer is. I'm gonna double check it on a calculator to make sure that you're right.
Are you using the same letter first of all?
Yes, you can use the same letter. You can make up any letter you want.
I did. Because you keep your mouth shut.
Okay, I want to see what your final answer is. I want to see what your problem actually is.
Mine.
So first, good. So first.
I just put that paper away too. God dang it. Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah. This is good.
I'm a fast learner.
Question.
It's good. I like it.
Quick question.
Yes. So far, got it set up.
So, I got the beginning part
Yep,
so
I
far.
agree with that.
The is.
Yep.
That's.
That's your equal sign. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, keep going. Yep. So far, so good.
If I'm right, tell me yes. Check mine.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah, boy.
Everybody else. Boy.
I found this wrapped up under the desk and all it says is orange. What orange?
Good question.
Where?
Oh, there's gum stuck up in there.
yeah, I wouldn't like it under the desk. Ugh. They get cleaned off during the summer and ugh, I don't even wanna know what's down there.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of gum.
Gum with a piece of.
They clean off the tops, they spray them down every day, but the bottoms, touch it.
Did you watch that video, by the way?
Yes, it did. It's funny.
Ooh.
Okay, I got it all written down.
Okay, good. I agree with what you have written down so far. I just gotta see us actually solve.
If, you know, you bust the phone and you have to take it to the office?
Me?
Yeah.
Is that an answer right?
And
Nice.
it's only 30 days till the end of the school year.
Yeah, I know. So you wouldn't have the fun the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's already a couple kids that got caught. Alright. Okay, we got the numbers down. What number? So I'm gonna use a W. So W is 0.15 of 245. You guys multiply the two numbers together. You're absolutely right. You got 36.75. That is your answer. Okay, give me the decimal. Make sure that when you're writing this down, you put the decimal 2 spots out front. That's the thing that I want to make sure of. Okay, here's your homework today. Okay, their homework that I'm going to give you today is due tomorrow in class. It is page 149. You're doing numbers 1 through 14, exercise B. So make sure you're doing the right exercises in your textbook. Okay, you have the rest of the day to, the rest of the class period today to work on that. So page 149, 1 through 14, exercise B. This is due tomorrow. Due Friday. So it's a short turnaround. I don't like to do that every now and then, but sometimes you just have to do it. So it's April 6th. So that's due tomorrow. So I would definitely get started now. You already know how to do it. We'll leave this example at the board.
A or B?
B, the ones at the bottom. So the exercise B, the ones at the very, very bottom. They should be in order, just a column going down. So it should be easy. They have different forms of how it's written, but you're already seeing how to do it. This is the only style of primary you're doing. You're just multiplying a lot of numbers together. The big thing I'm worried about is, are you going to write your percent, the rate, the percent, as the correct number, like 0 point whatever it is.
So can we use the wrong letter for what?
Yeah, you can use whatever letter. I use W's. You guys can use A's or whatever first letter you want to use.
You keep your mouth shut over there, buddy.
Okay. But there you go.